Today I'm going to show you how you can crochet your very own petunia petal mouse. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Elise from EliseRoseCrochet.com, and you're going to find the full tutorial within this video. You'll have everything you need to make your adorable amigurumi mouse. But for those of you who like written instructions as well, I will leave a link in the description box below for the full written pattern in my blog post. And finally, for those of you who would like to purchase a downloadable ad-free pattern, I will leave a link for my website storefront as well as my Etsy and Ravelry shops. First, you're going to need some supplies. You can crochet petunia in either a number 2 sport weight yarn or a number 4 worsted weight yarn. You're going to need the colors gray, off-white, dusty pink, and soft brown. Or choose colors that you love or ones that you already have in your stash. If you're making petunia in the number 2 sport weight yarn, you're going to need 2 different size crochet hooks, a 2.5mm and a 3mm hook. But if you're making petunia with a number 4 worsted weight yarn, you'll also need 2 crochet hook sizes, a 3.5mm and a 4mm. You're also going to need stuffing, a yarn needle, scissors, safety eyes, and black embroidery floss. Let's get to work. We're starting off with our 2.5mm hook, and we're just going to start with a slip knot. And the first thing that we need to do is to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now for round 1, in the second chain from the hook, we're going to start and we're going to make 3 single crochet across here. So here's our first chain and this is our second chain. And we're going to do 1 single crochet. Now I'm going to mark this stitch as the first stitch of my round. That was my first stitch. We're going to go to stitch number 2 and stitch number 3. Now we should only have 1 stitch left, and in that stitch we're going to actually make 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now what I like to do is tighten our tail here. That makes it nice and clean in this area. And now we're going to crochet on the other side, the back side of our chain. And so I'm going to go to the first stitch right here. On that other side of the chain, I'm going to crochet 1, find the next one, crochet 2. It's the bottom part of the chain that we originally made. And now for our last stitch that we have, we're going to increase, which means we're going to make 2 single crochet in that last stitch. So now you should have a little oval shape, and we're going to move on to round 2. For round 2, we're going to start with an increase, which means we're going to make 2 single crochet, but I'm going to mark that first stitch, and then I'm going to go right back into that same stitch to make our increase. So we've done our increase, then we need to do 2 single crochet across the next 2 stitches. Now I'm going to make another increase, which just means to make 2 single crochet in this stitch. Then we need to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then we have another increase. This is creating the shape for the bottom of the shoe. Then we're going to make 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. And now we're going to make 2 increases. So in the next stitch, we're going to make an increase. This is our first increase. And then in our last stitch, we're going to make an increase. And I highly recommend after every round checking your stitch count to make sure that you have the correct number of stitches. At this point, we should have 15. We are moving on to round 3 and we're starting with an increase. So we'll make 2 single crochet, mark that first stitch, finishing that increase. Now we're going to make 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to make another increase, which just means to make 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. Now we need to do 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then we're going to do another increase. Now we're going to do 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to make 2 increases now. So this is our first increase and the second increase. And after this round, you should have 20 stitches. So we are starting round 4 and we're starting with 2 increases. So we'll make our first stitch of the increase. We're going to mark it as the first stitch in the round. Single crochet back into that same stitch. Now we're going to make another increase. Now we're going to make 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to increase again. We're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. We're going to increase again. And now we're going to make 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We should have 3 stitches left, and we're going to do an increase, 2 single crochet in that 1 stitch, and then we're just going to do 2 single crochet across the next 2 stitches. So at the end of this round, you should have 25 stitches in total. We are on round 5 and we're going to make a single crochet in each one of these 25 stitches in the back loop only. Crochet stitches look like little V's and you'll see the front leg and the back leg. We're going under only the back leg. All the way around. Just make sure to mark that first stitch. For round 6, we're going to start with 11 single crochet. Mark that first stitch. Then we're going to increase, making 2 single crochet in that one stitch. Now we are going to do 2 single crochet, and now we're going to do another increase. And now we will do 10 single crochet. And at the end of this round, you should have 27 stitches. We're on to round 7, and we're going to be shaping the shoe in this round. So we're going to start again with 11 single crochet. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now we're going to do 4 decreases, and I do what's called an invisible decrease. And remember when we talked about the 2 legs of the crochet stitch, looks like a little V. We're only going to be going into the front loop of our stitches to decrease. So I'm going to go under the front loop of the first stitch, and I'm going to move over and go under the front loop of the second stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull through both of those, and you should have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So we've taken 2 stitches now and turned them into 1. That's the invisible decrease. Now we're going to do that again for the next 2 stitches. Do the exact same thing. That was a total of 2 decreases, but we need to do 2 more. We're going into the front loop again, and the last one, front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of those. So you've made 4 decreases, and it's starting to shape the little shoe. Now we should have 8 single crochet left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And after that round, you should have 23 stitches, and it should start looking like this. Now we're on to round 8, and we're going to do 10 single crochet. Now we're going to do 3 decreases, just like we did before. We're going into the front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, and pull through. So that was our first decrease. Our next decrease is right here. And then the last decrease, number 3. And now we should have 7 single crochets left. So let's start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're on round 9, and this is the last round of our shoe. We are going to do 9 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now for this round, we're doing 2 decreases. So we're going into the front loop of those next 2 stitches, yarning over, pulling through both, yarning over and pulling through both. Now we're going to do that one more time for our second decrease. And now we will have 7 single crochet left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I'm not going to finish this last stitch because we're going to change the color to the sock yarn color. So now I'm going to change colors, and I want to show you the way that I've been doing it. I learned this recently from my friend Anna from the Naughty Boss, and we're just going to loop the new color on, pull it through our 2 stitches from the previous stitch. Now I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch here. We're just going to slip stitch into it. Now I'm going to chain 1. Why I'm doing this is that it creates less of a noticeable color change jog, and I really like how this looks. So now that chain 1 is considered our first stitch in the round, and I'll show you exactly why, and it looks really good. So now we're going to do 8 single crochet. So that chain 1 counted as our first stitch. Now this is 2, and only until I've done that second stitch can I mark that chain. So that chain is the first stitch in the round. So we've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to single crochet 3 together, and I'm going to show you how I do this. I honestly don't know if this is the correct way to do it or not. It's the way I do it, and it's the way I like how it looks. We're going to go into the front loop of that first one, front loop of the second one, pull through, and then go into the third loop, pull through, and then pull through all 3. Then we have 7 single crochets left to do. And you need to tighten that stitch up just a little bit so that we don't end up with a massive hole right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, I'm going to show you what I like to do at this point. I have not cut my previous color yarn, and the reason why I do that is because I like to anchor the old color before cutting it by doing a new round of color. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this now, and I'm going to cut it the same length as my new color tail. Now what I do is I just tie these 2 ends in a knot because it looks so much better. The color change looks very neat, and I just tie them together and tuck all of my tails now down into the shoe. At this point you could start stuffing the shoe if you wanted to, but I honestly like to wait until I'm a little bit further along before starting to stuff the shoe. So now for rounds 11, 12, and 13, we're just going to single crochet in each one of our stitches. But the one thing that we need to notice from our previous round is that it's going to look like when we first slip stitch that that's our first stitch of the round, but it's not. That's when we slip stitched. But our chain that we marked is actually our first stitch. So that's where we need to place our single crochet so that we have this neater jog color change. So now I've done one single crochet and I'm going to go around each one of the stitches for rounds 11, 12, and 13. And when you're done with that, we're going to change colors again and I'll meet you back for that point. So we've just finished round 13 and we're getting ready to change colors. The difference here is that we are going to be single crocheting into the back loop of each one of these stitches. So I'm going to add in my new color and I'm going to do the same technique for the color change that I did before when we changed to the sock color. But instead of going under both loops, I'm only going into the back loop only. So I'm going to slip stitch into that back loop. Remember, that's not our first stitch. Now I'm going to chain one. That's going to be considered our first stitch in the round. And I'm just going to go through the back loop of each one of the 16 stitches here. So I'm going to mark that chain stitch as our first stitch and go all the way around through the back loop only. And the reason why I'm doing that is just that it has a nice look to it. I just like how that looks. It gives a nice little separation between the two colors. Now I'm going to cut my white yarn and I'm holding the tail of my new gray color here. And I'm just going to tie these two together so that it's a nice tight color change. And I'm going to just stuff these tails back down in here. Now you're going to go ahead and just single crochet around the leg for rounds 15 through 25. Nothing special, you're just going to make the leg and meet back here after you've finished round 25. You should have finished round 25 and I've gone ahead and finished stuffing the foot and the leg. And what I like to do is to slip stitch to the first stitch of the round and then I bind off. And we're going to go ahead and make the second leg. And you're going to do exactly the same thing that we did for leg number 1. What you're not going to do is you're not going to bind off after round 25. We'll meet back after you finish your second leg. Do not bind off because we're going to join our legs together. You've now got 2 little mouse legs. And what we're going to do is we're starting round 26. What you're going to do with your second leg is we're going to do 1 single crochet into our second leg. And go ahead and mark that stitch. Now we're going to take our first leg and we're going to match them up together. And we want to attach our second leg to our first leg right at that center point. And all you're going to do is attach with a single crochet, just like that. Now our two legs are attached, and we're just going to single crochet 15 more around our first leg. And when you get to your tail, just crochet into it as you normally would. Tighten the tail a bit and crochet as normal. You can even crochet over the tail to stabilize that tail just a little bit. Now we're going to join to our second leg. And remember, we've already made one single crochet on this side of the leg, so we just need to crochet 15 more. Our two little legs are completely attached, and we finished round 26, and we should have 32 stitches at this point. And now we're moving on to round 27. This round is very simple, and we are going to be doing 7 single crochet increase, and we're going to do that 4 times. Always mark that first stitch in the round. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we're going to increase, making 2 single crochet and 1 stitch, and then we're going to just repeat that all the way around the leg. We're going to do 7 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and now we just do another increase. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, increase. And we only do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and we have our last stitch, which we will increase. After this round, you should have 36 stitches. We're on round 28, and for this round, we are doing 5 single crochet increase. We're going to repeat that all the way around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. I want you to continue the pattern of 5 single crochet, increase all the way around, and at the end of this round you will have 42 stitches. After round 28, you should have 42 stitches in total. And now for rounds 29 through 35, you are only going to single crochet in every single stitch. That's 7 rounds, single crocheting in every single stitch. And we will meet back for round 36. We finished round 35 and your little mouse should be looking about like this right now. And also just a reminder to make sure that you are stuffing as you go. So for round 36, we are going to be doing 5 single crochet, decrease all the way around. We're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do that invisible decrease where we go into the front loop of those 2 stitches. Then we just do 5 single crochet, decrease all the way around. 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease. Continue making 5 single crochet, decrease all the way around, and we'll meet back for round 37. After round 36, you should have 36 stitches. And now for round 37, we're just going to single crochet in each one of those 36 stitches. And I will let you finish this round on your own and we'll meet back for round 38. We're on to round 38 and we're going to do 4 single crochet, decrease all the way around. And at the end of this round, you will have 30 stitches. Two, 3, and 4. And then we're going to decrease. So I will let you continue that pattern all the way around and we'll meet back for round 39. We finished round 38 and you should have 30 stitches after that round. And for round 39, we are going to just make single crochets in each one of those stitches. This is just a simple round. I will let you finish this round on your own and we will meet back for round 40. We're starting round 40 and we're going to be doing 3 single crochet, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease, and we're going to continue 3 single crochet, decrease all the way around, and at the end you will have 24 stitches. And I'll meet you back for round 41. We finished round 40 and we're moving on to round 41, and you should now have 24 stitches. And this round is just single crochet in each one of the stitches. Another easy round. And we will meet back here for round 42. We finished round 41, we're on to round 42, and we should still have 24 stitches. And for round 42, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet, decrease. And we only have one more round after this for the body. So we have 1, 2, and we're going to decrease. And we're going to do this all the way around, and you'll be left with 18 stitches at the end. So let's meet back here for round 43. We finished round 42, and now would be a good time to go ahead and finish stuffing the body section. And for round 43, all we're going to do is single crochet in each one of the stitches. Now that I've finished stuffing, I will go ahead and finish round 43 by single crocheting in each one of the stitches. And once we're done with this round, we are going to be finished with the body, and we're going to fasten off, but we're going to leave a long tail for seaming the head onto the body. Now that we're finished with round 43, you should have 18 stitches, and what I like to do is slip stitch to the first stitch in the round, and I'm going to leave a longer tail than I need. That way, when I am ready to seam the head to the body, I already have the yarn that I'm going to use. Now that we've finished crocheting the little body, it's time to move on to the head, and we're going to grab our gray yarn for this part. For the head, we're actually starting at the nose, and we will be working all the way to the back of the head. This is the end of the head. This is the beginning of the head. This little pinky peach part at the end of the nose right here is going to be added on later. So we're actually going to start with our gray color, and we're going to make 6 single crochet in a magic ring. And if you need any help learning how to do the magic ring, I will leave a link to a tutorial that goes really slow through how to make a magic ring. But we will go right ahead and make 6 single crochet in that magic ring. 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll grab our tail here and pull it closed. For round 1, we are single crocheting in each one of these stitches. We will not be increasing at all. Now this can be a little bit tough sometimes, especially if your stitches were a bit tight in the magic ring, but that's okay. We'll mark that first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now for round 2, I'm actually going to use my little tool that I use to stuff my toys and turn this right side out. Because we're doing very few increases in the beginning, it's going to want to close in on itself. So I need to make sure that it is right side out. And for round 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet increase around, which will leave us with 9 stitches. 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase, one single crochet, and in our last stitch we're going to increase. And now we should have 9 stitches. For round 3, we're going to do 2 single crochet increase, but one thing that I want to do right now before I forget to do it is this is the tail from my magic ring, and I'm going to pull that to make sure that that little hole is really closed. I'm going to use my tool and make sure that it is pointing in the right direction. So let's move on. 2 single crochet increase. Two and increase. One, two, increase. 1, 2, increase. And now after this round you should have 12 stitches. For round 4 we're doing 3 single crochet increase. Increase, two, 3, increase. And after this round you should have 15 single crochet. For the next 3 rounds we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We won't be doing our typical repeats because we are shaping the snout so that it points up. We're starting off with 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to make 5 increases in a row. So in each of the next 5 single crochets we're going to be increasing. This is increase number 1. Increase number 2, increase number 3, increase number 4, and increase number 5. Now we're just going to single crochet in each one of the 5 remaining stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After that round, you should have 20 stitches. And for round 6, we're starting off again with 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do a repeat of 1 single crochet increase, and we're going to do that repeat 5 times. This is the part that can be hard to keep track of, but we're going to count them. 1 single crochet increase. This was number 1. Single crochet increase number 2. Single crochet increase 3. Single crochet increase 4. Single crochet increase number 5. And now we're going to single crochet in each one of the remaining 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after this round, you should have 25 stitches. We're on to round number 7, and this is another shaping round, and we're going to start with 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet increase, and we're going to do that repeat 5 times. 1, 2, increase number 1, 1, 2, increase number 2, 1, 2, increase number 3, 1, 2, increase number 4, 1, 2, increase number 5. And we're going to single crochet in each one of the 5 remaining stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after this round, you should have 30 stitches. For round 8, we're going back to our regular increases, and this one will be 4 single crochet increase, and this is for round 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Let's redo that stitch. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. And after that round, you should have 36 stitches. We're on to round 9, and we're going to do 5 single crochet increase. And I'm going to do the first one with you, and I will let you finish it, and we'll meet back for round 10. But after round 9, you should have 42 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. And do that all the way around, and we'll meet back for round 10. After round 9, you should have 42 stitches, and we're going on to round 10. Round 10 is just 6 single crochet increase. And after this round, you should have 48 stitches. I'll do the first repeat with you, and then I'll let you finish on your own. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then increase. Do that repeat all the way around, and we'll meet back for round 11. After finishing round 10, you should have 48 stitches. And for rounds 11 through 17, all you're going to do is make single crochets in each one of these stitches. So go ahead and do those 7 rounds, and we will meet back here for round 18. After round 17, your little mouse head should look something like this. And this is the point where we're going to be adding our safety eyes. This is a 6mm safety eye, but you can use smaller eyes, larger eyes, whatever your preference is. Now for my little mouse, I'm going to be placing the eyes between rounds 7 and 8. And I'm going to show you how to count that. If you remember when we started, our little magic ring here did not count as our first round. So we're not going to count this little indentation as 1. We're skipping that and counting this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is round 7. So here would be round 7 and 8. We're doing it right in that indentation between round 7 and 8. I am going to stick my eye in here, and I'm not going to place the back on it until I feel comfortable where both of the eyes are. I want to place my eyes anywhere from 9 to 10 stitches apart. You can put yours closer together or further away. It really is a personal choice. So we have a stitch here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Hold on to that spot. And let's see how this looks. I love how this looks. So I'm going to go ahead and put the backs on since I really like the placement of my eyes. I have this little tool. I'll leave a link for it in the description box below because it has made putting on backs of eyes so much easier for me. There we go. So much easier. There we go. Now that we've placed our eyes, we are moving on to round 18. And for round 18, we're going to start decreasing. We're going to do 6 single crochet decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do that invisible decrease. I'm going to go into the front leg of the next 2 stitches and decrease. So you're going to go through, do 6 single crochet decrease, and after this round you should have 42 stitches, and we'll meet back for round 19. After round 18 you should have 42 stitches, and we're moving on to round 19. We're going to do 12 single crochet decrease all the way around, and after this round you should have 39 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we will decrease. And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. 12 single crochet, decrease. And we'll meet back for round 20. After round 19, you should have 39 stitches, and we're moving on to round 20, where we will do 11 single crochet decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we will decrease. You'll repeat 11 single crochet decrease, and at the end of this round you will have 36 stitches, and we'll meet back for round 21. We're ready for round 21, but I would recommend going ahead and stuffing the little nose area here and the front of the face. This is a good time to do this. But for round 21, we're going to do 4 single crochet decrease. We're going to repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. So continue that pattern all the way around, and at the end of this round you will have 30 stitches, and we'll meet back for round 22. We're moving on to round 22, and for this round we're going to do 3 single crochet decrease, and we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So continue 3 single crochet decrease all the way around, and at the end of this round you will have 24 stitches. For round 23, we're going to do 2 single crochet decrease all the way around. One, 2, decrease. Continue doing 2 single crochet decrease all the way around, and at the end of this round you will have 18 stitches. Before starting round 24, this is a really good time to go ahead and stuff the head well. I want to show you a little detail that you can do for the eyes. Now this is completely optional, and what this is going to achieve is it's going to give our eyes a little indentation. This is totally up to you. You don't need to do it, but I wanted to show you how to do it. I have threaded a yarn needle with about 18 inches of the same color yarn that I'm using for the head. I'm going to go through the back here where we have our opening, and I am going to get as close as I can to the underneath of this eye. And this can be a little bit tricky because we have our safety eye on, and I may have to do it several times because I want to get as close to that safety eye as possible, but I want to be underneath. There we go. I'm going to pull up the length, but I want to leave a tail outside of the back of the head. Now I'm going to go back underneath the eye, and I'm going to come back through the back of the head. I'm just going to pull it. Then I'm going to go to the other eye and do the exact same thing. While trying not to get your working yarn mixed up in all of that. Hold that out of the way. Now go back on the other side and come out the back of the head. Now, when you take the two tails that you have and you pull on them, you can give the eyes a little indentation, and what that does is it just makes the toy have a little more realistic look to it, and I just think it looks really, really cute. So then we're just going to obviously take our needle off, and then we're just going to tie a knot. And you can decide how tight you want that, how much indentation you want. And you may need to adjust because one may be a little bit tighter than the other. And then I will finally double knot it. And stuff those tails right down into the head. And I think that looks really cute. So you should have 18 stitches after round 23. And now for round 24, we're just going to do one single crochet decrease all the way around. And after this round, we will have 12 stitches. And meet me back for round 25. Before starting round 25, this is a really good time to go ahead and finish stuffing the head before we close this off. Now that the head is nicely stuffed, we are going to go ahead and finish our last round. This is round 25, and we're going to decrease all the way around. We're going to decrease 6 times and be left with 6 stitches. This can be a little bit of a tricky part because it's so well stuffed that stuffing can get into your stitches and it can just make it more difficult. And I just forgot to mark that first stitch. Thank goodness. That was the second one. Here's the first one. And if your stuffing comes out, just stuff it back in there. It's caught on my stitch marker. And it can be tricky at this stage to just get the front loop for those decreases. And we're on our last decrease. And believe it or not, before I close this, I'm going to add a tad bit more stuffing because I can always add a little bit more, and I want to make sure that the head is nicely stuffed. Now that the head is fully stuffed, we're going to finish this off. I'm going to go ahead and cut the end here. And I'm just going to pull my tail all the way through. We're going to take our needle and we're going to go into the front loop only of each one of our 6 remaining stitches. Three, 4, 5, and 6. And this is my favorite part, but make sure if you feel like you need any more stuffing, this is your last chance. I'm going to go ahead and pull it closed. Now the way I like to fasten this off is I go right into that center, pull it, and then go over 1 stitch and then come out somewhere on the other side and not pull too tight here because you want to match your tension. Then I'm going to clip this and your little head is done. Now we're going to move on and make the little pink nose part. For the mouse head and the body, I've been using a 2.5mm crochet hook. But for my little nose cap, I'm calling it, I'm using a 3mm crochet hook. So if you're doing the worsted weight mouse, you're going to go up to a 4mm crochet hook because we want it slightly bigger so that it fits over this little part easily, just like a little cap. So we're going to start with 6 single crochet in a magic ring with our larger size crochet hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to close our magic ring. And then we're going to slip stitch to that first stitch in our magic ring. We're just going to create a slip stitch. Now we're going to leave a nice long tail for being able to sew our little nose cap onto our mouse. And we're just going to pull this all the way through, and then I'm going to grab my tail from where we started the magic ring and I'm just going to pull it nice and tight. And I am actually going to weave that end in just slightly to get it out of the way. But I don't want to just clip it without securing it very quickly. Okay. Make sure you're cutting the right tail here. And you're not using your tail that you're going to be sewing. Okay. Now we want to make sure that we're doing this right side out. And it can be kind of hard to tell where you just weaved in that end, that's the back side. So I usually like to use my little stick here and press so that it takes the shape of a little tiny cap. And we're going to take our little mouse here and we're going to put it right on the end. Now I like to put that tail right here at the bottom, and I'm going to use a pin to put this right in place. All right, my little nose is exactly where I want it, and it's going to want to move around a little bit, but that's okay. Now I'm going to thread my tail, and I will show you exactly how I like to sew things on so that they're nice and neat. I'm going to go ahead and take my needle right into the stitch directly below, and I'm just going to pick up that stitch, and I'm going horizontally across the stitch. Then I'm going to go up on the side of that stitch that I'm right below here. You can see the stitches right here. And then I'm going to go down into the next stitch. Just go down through those V's. I'm going right underneath them. Now I'm going to find the stitch that's directly below, and I'm going to pick it up. Basically what I mean by pick it up, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going across the stitch horizontally, just across that one stitch. Now I'm going to catch the legs of the pink stitch, and then I'm going to go down the legs of the next stitch over, and then find the stitch right below and go horizontal across. Then I'm going to go up the legs of the crochet stitch and then down the next stitch. I'm going to find the stitch directly below, catch it horizontally, then I'm going to go ahead and remove, and look, and we're back where we started, and look how adorable that looks. I love it so much. Now, we do need to weave this in because we don't want to see it. Now I'm going to go right back where I was. And I'm going to show you a little trick. We're going to just come down We're going to come down somewhere around where the head is going to be attached to the body of the mouse. And I am going to trim this, but I want to show you something. There will be times that you trim it as close as you can, but you still see a little bit of the other color yarn. You're just going to take your needle, you can do it this end or this end, it doesn't matter, a few stitches away, and just move your needle around to basically get the rest of that yarn into your stuffing there. There, now you don't see it at all. This is the time that I like to just take a few moments to shape and make sure that the stuffing looks good underneath all those stitches, that everything looks nice, that it's symmetrical. And you can do a lot by shaping with your hands. You would be surprised. So don't skip this step. Okay, our little guy is ready and we're going to go on and make the ears. Now it's time to go ahead and make our little ears. You're going to start with your smaller size crochet hook, and for me that is a 2.5 millimeter hook. And we're going to start with the gray yarn, which I'm calling the outer ear part. And we're going to start with 6 single crochet in a magic ring. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we are going to close our magic ring. For round 1, we're going to increase in each one of these stitches so that we end up with 12 stitches at the end. And I'm going to mark this as our first stitch in the round, and I need to make another single crochet in that stitch. That's our first increase. Moving on to round 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet increase, and after this round we will have 18 stitches in total. We're on to round 3, and we're going to do 2 single crochet increase, and we're going to repeat that pattern around. And I will do the first one with you, 1 and 2, and then we will increase. And I want you to repeat that all the way around, and at the end of this round you will have 24 stitches. This is the last round in our outer ear portion, and I'm just going to trim my end, but I'm going to leave a long tail because this is what we're going to use for seaming. After you're finished with this one, we're going to make 3 more exactly like this because we have an outer ear, but we have the front and we will have the back. So I want you to go ahead, just make 3 more, and we'll meet back here to make the inner part of the ear. You should have 4 of your little outer ear parts, and now we're going to get our pink color and we're going to make the inner part of the ear. We're also going to be using our 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, and we're just going to start with 6 single crochet in the magic ring. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We will close our magic ring. For round number 1, we're going to make an increase in each one of those stitches so that we will have 12 at the end of this round. So go ahead and just increase all the way around, and we'll meet back for round number 2. You should have 12 stitches, and we're moving on to round 2, which we're going to do 1 single crochet increase. And we're going to repeat that all the way around, and after this round you will have 18 single crochet. We are finished with our little inner ear part, and what we're going to do is just slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, and then we will leave a long tail for seaming the inner ear part to the outer ear. Make a second one of the inner ear part, and then I will show you how we're going to attach it to the outer ears and then attach it to the head. This is what the ear is going to look like when we are finished. But the first thing that we need to do is take the ends that we have from the beginning of our magic ring, and we're going to weave them in on all 3 pieces. And I call this just getting it done quick and dirty. This is not going to be pretty. We're not doing this super carefully. We're just doing it to get it done quickly, because we do want to secure these ends. We don't want to just cut them and leave them, because it could unravel possibly. So I like to just weave them in, and I call it quick and dirty, just get it done. And go ahead and do that for all 3 of your ear pieces. Just the back, not the tails that we're going to use for seaming. These are the tails that we need to keep. It's the back, the one that is where we have the beginning of our magic ring. Those are the tails that we are going to weave in. I've gone ahead and threaded my needle with my pink inner ear. And the first thing that I'm going to do is look for my next stitch right over from where my tail is, and I'm just going to slip my yarn over that way because it leaves it with less of a dip right here. So I'm just going to place my ear right here on the inside of my outer ear, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go under both of the legs of one of the stitches from the outer ear, which is in gray. Then I'm going to go under both of the legs in the next stitch from the gray. Then I'm going to find those legs in the pink inner ear, both of the legs of the stitch. There we go. And then I go under right there, the stitch right next to it. And then I find the stitch that is directly below that with the gray, and I go down and I turn around and I go back this way and find the next stitch with the pink. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Once I've completely attached the inner ear to the outer ear, I'm just going to do a quick little weaving in of that last end. That way it's nice and secure. Doesn't need to be pretty at this point because nobody is going to see it. Now I'm going to take the back of the ear and I'm going to thread my needle with that tail, because this is the tail that I'm going to use to attach to the front of my outer ear. And I'm going to make sure that I'm attaching it so that the right side is showing out. I don't want the back side to show, I want the right side to show. And the first thing that I'm going to do is just take my needle and go under the next stitch just to keep it a little bit nicer. Add my ear and just matching my stitches up exactly how I did before. And this can be a little bit trickier because you don't want to grab any of the stitches from the pink. You just want the gray. It can feel a little bit awkward near where the other tail is that you need to keep, because that's the one that we're going to use to attach it to the mouse's head. But just treat it as a normal stitch, trying not to grab any of the pink. And sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. There we go. And just go all the way around, attaching the back of the outer ear to the front of the outer ear. And then once you're done, make sure to weave in this end, and I will show you where to attach the ears to the head. I like to attach the ears before we attach the head to the body. And I really just eyeball it. I don't really count exactly if you like them further back, if you like them further down. It really depends. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches from my eyes. And I always like to pin to hold things in place. The most important part to me is that the ears are even, that they are on the same line on the head. I'm just going to secure this so that it feels like it's not going to move around a lot. Okay, I like the placement of that, and we're going to place this one right here. It looks pretty even. I think it's a little bit off. I would rather spend a little more time making sure that everything is even than adding it on and realizing that it's in the wrong spot and having to do it over again. That saying, measure twice, cut once. It's kind of the same philosophy. Then I just make sure, I'm going to look at it and make sure that I like the placement of the ears. Yes, I think that is perfect. The goal when adding body parts for amigurumi is just that you don't see the seams, and that can be a little bit challenging. And I find that just doing it a little bit at a time works really well. So I have my tail coming from this direction, so I'm going to go into the stitch that is directly next to it on the mouse head, and I'm going across the stitch this direction. And pull it tight enough. Then I'm going to pick up the stitch on the ear, and I'm just going to grab that back leg of the V of the stitch, and I'm going to go down on the next stitch. Same thing. And then I'm going to pick up a stitch from the head. Just one. Now I'm going to pick up another stitch here. And I'm going to go back down the other direction because I don't think that I can go one more stitch this way without being able to see the seam. And then I'm going to go back down. I'm actually going to remove that. And I'm going to pick up that stitch from the head. And I'm going to just do that a few times, making sure that it's secure, making sure that the seams are almost invisible where you can't really see them, because I find that that makes it look the neatest. When you're trying to pick up the stitch and seam it closest to where the tail already is. That seems to be the best way to do it. Now I can remove this pin. And I'm going to do that a few more times because the ear is not quite as secure as I would like it. And go ahead and do that for the second ear, and we will get ready to add the head onto the body. Now your head is completely done. You should have put the ears on, weaved in your ends, and we are now going to attach the head to the body. Now, the best way that I know how to do this is to pin the head on first. I like to try to look and see which way it looks best, and I like how this looks right here. I want to even the head from the front to the back on the body. Now, one of the things that I do, and I think works best, is to bring these pins up from the bottom up. I've tried the other direction and it just doesn't work. And it's not going to be completely secure, but it's better than nothing. And I know some people use different things to secure. I've heard of doll pins that are really long, and that might be great to use as well, but I don't have anything like that, so I'm just going to use my pins. And so we're going to go ahead and take our tail from the body, and we're going to put it on our needle. You know what I mean. We need to put the needle, thread the needle is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to take the same concept. We're going to be working one stitch here, then we're going to come down into these front loops, like we've done with the ears and we did with the little nose. My yarn is going in this direction. That's the direction I'm going to go in. So I'm going to go up into the head and take one stitch going diagonally. Now it's helpful to turn it upside down, and I'm going to take that front leg and secure it. Then come on the other side of the next stitch up the V, up the leg, that front V I'm trying to say. And we do want to keep this nice and tight, not too tight, but we don't want to see gaps. Now I'm going to find the stitch just above where my yarn is, grab one stitch, and now I'm going to go down, grab the front leg of the V of the stitch right there, go to the next stitch and go up that front leg of the V, and now I'm going to grab one stitch. Just I'm going underneath it right here, securing it to the head. And I'm going to work all the way around. I actually may need to go around more than once to make sure that everything is secure, but that's how I like to attach all of the different body parts, and it seems to work well, and you don't see the seams very much, which is always the goal. The one thing that I do want to share is before you finish closing off this section, make sure to add any additional stuffing that you want so that this will be really nice, because once you seam it up, you can't add any more stuffing. Our little mouse is looking so good, and now it's time to make the arms. And we're going to use our gray color, and we're going to use our smaller crochet hook size. So for me, that is a 2.5 millimeter hook. And we're going to start, I guess I should tell you the directions, right? We're going to start with 5 single crochet in a magic ring, not 6, but 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's close our magic ring. And we're going to, for round 1, make increases in each one of the stitches. So at the end of this round, we will have 10 stitches in total. First increase, second increase, third increase, fourth increase, and our 5th and last increase. And we should have 10 stitches now. Now for round 2, we're just going to single crochet in each one of the 10 stitches. Now my little arm wants to curl inside out, so I'm going to push it right side out. And let's move on to round number 3. For round number 3, we're going to start with 1 single crochet. And now we're going to make a 3 double crochet bobble. So we're going to make a double crochet. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up, so you should have 3 loops, yarn over, and only pull through 2. So that was our first double crochet. We're going to make a second double crochet, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook. You're only going to pull through 2. You have 3 loops on your hook. Let's make our third double crochet, pull up. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and only pull through 2. And now you have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4. This makes our little thumb. And now we're going to single crochet in the last 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, my little thumb is inside out, so I just turn it right side out, and I usually use my little stuffing tool to push it out, just like that. And you still have 10 stitches. And we're going to move on to round 4. For round 4 through 17, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch, and we have 10 stitches. The only one that can be a little bit tricky on this round 4 is our bobble stitch that we did. So I'm just going to show you. We have 1. The 3 double crochet bobble is right here, and it's a large looking stitch, but we're only going to make 1 single crochet. Then we look for the 3rd stitch. There it is. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we just finished round 4. So you're going to make rounds 5 through 17. You're just going to single crochet in each stitch. Once you're finished with that, I want you to make a second arm exactly the same way, and then we will attach them to our little mouse. After round 17, make sure to leave a long tail for seaming. Now we have our two little arms, and we're going to be sewing them to the sides of the body. I did not stuff these arms at all. I think that they look fine the way they are, but if you would like to stuff them, I would stuff the hand area, but I would not go much beyond here. Do not stuff the top part because it ends up where the arms stick out straight like this and they won't go down. So I'm leaving mine completely unstuffed. I'm going to be attaching the arms not here at the neck, but at the next row down. And I like to just center the arms so that they line up with the legs. And this is pretty easy. I don't even pin them on. Now I'm just going to go through right underneath the V of the stitches. Go across front and back. Then I pick up a stitch here on the side. Go back. Again. Pick up a stitch on the body and come back through. Now I'm going to take my needle and just move to the back of the arm. And I'm going to put my needle right here into the body and go all the way to the back. Then I'm going to put my needle back into the arm and come all the way across. This kind of helps keep the arm down a little bit. And then I am just going to take my needle, thread it all the way through to here. I'm not going to pull hard because I don't want to cause any kind of tension issues up in the shoulder area. Just go through, go over one stitch, bring it back out, and I'm done. Trim your end, add your other arm, and we will be moving on to the tail. Now we're going to make our little mouse tail. I'm using my smaller size crochet hook, which is my 2.5mm hook, and I am getting my pink color yarn. We're going to start with a slip knot, and you're going to leave a little bit of a tail. It doesn't need to be super long, but this is probably 7 or 8 inches long. Make the slip knot, and we're going to chain 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now you're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So here's the first, here's our second. And we're just going to make a single crochet in each stitch across the chain. So we'll end up with 24 single crochet. And it's okay if you've got a couple of more stitches or not enough. It really doesn't matter. 25, 26, 24, it really doesn't matter. You just want a chain with single crochets in it. And you'll start to see that it's curling And that's exactly what we want it to do. Now I'm going to cut the tail the same length as my beginning tail. Pull my end through, and our little tail is made. Now we're not going to attach it right now because we're going to use the shorts that we're going to make next as a guide. There'll be a little hole in the back of the shorts that is going to be the guide for where we will attach our tail. Now that our little mouse is made, it is time to start working on the clothes. So since I made this little mouse with a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, I'm going to be making the clothes with a 3 millimeter crochet hook. And I would encourage you to experiment. If you find that the clothes are still too tight with a 3 millimeter hook, move up to a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. But the 3 works well for me. I'm going to be using the white for the little cardigan here, and we're going to start with chaining 25. We'll start with a slip knot. I'm just going to chain nice and loosely, not too loosely, but enough that it matches the tension of the rest of the cardigan. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we're going to be working in rows, not rounds. We're not going to be connecting this. For row 1, we're going to be starting in the second chain from the hook, and we're just going to single crochet all the way across, starting in the second chain. So here's the first and here's the second. But I am going to mark this stitch. I like to mark that first stitch even of a row because it helps me to know that's where it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now your chain may want to twist, so make sure that you're always keeping it forward facing. So go ahead, finish this row, and we'll meet back for row number 2. After you've single crocheted all the way across, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. For row 2, we're going to do 3 single crochet increase all the way across. Now we're not going to count the chain as a stitch, and we're going into this first single crochet here, and I'm going to mark this stitch as well. So we just go ahead and 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to increase in this stitch, and we're going to repeat this pattern all the way across. 3 single crochet increase, and we'll meet back after we finish this and move on to the next round. After round 2, you should have 30 stitches, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. For round 3, we're going to do 4 single crochet increase all the way across, and at the end we should have 36 stitches. And I'm going to mark that first stitch again and work all the way across, and we will meet back after this round. After round 3, you should have 36 stitches, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now for this round, we're going to start making the openings for the armholes. So we're going to do 6 single crochet. I'll mark that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to skip 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the next stitch, that 7th stitch, we're going to single crochet. And now we're going to single crochet for 12 in total. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to skip 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will single crochet into that 7th stitch. And we are going to single crochet all the way across for 6 stitches. So that was our first. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We will chain 1 and turn. For round number 5, we're going to do 6 single crochet, skipping that chain like we've been doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do 6 single crochet across our chain. So we chained 6, so we're going to chain all the way across. 1, 2, 3. Now this can always be tricky to find those chains. As long as you get 6 single crochet across the chain, it's really going to be fine. 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to make 12 single crochet across just like we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we've come to our chain 6, and so we need to single crochet 6 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to single crochet 6 across. for our end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now this is always a good time to try on our little cardigan to make sure that it's starting to fit. So we started up at the collar, and just make sure that the arms fit through and that it fits across the back. That's probably the most important part, is that the arms fit and that it fits in the back. Yep, it's fitting great for my little mousie. For row 6, we're just going to single crochet in each one of these stitches, and then we will chain 1 and turn. So go ahead and do that, and let's meet back for row number 7. After completing row 6, you should have 36 stitches. We've chained 1 and we've turned our work, and now we're starting row 7. We're going to do 8 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to increase, and we want that increase right here under the armhole, which is where we're at. And then we're going to single crochet 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we're going to increase again under our little armhole. Make 2 single crochet in that stitch, and then we should have 8 stitches left, and we're just going to single crochet in each one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And after that row, you should have 38 stitches. So now we're going to go on to row 8, which is just to single crochet in each one of the 38 stitches, and we'll meet back for row number 9. Okay, we've just finished row 8. I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and now we're starting row 9. For row 9, we will single crochet 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to increase under the armhole. We're going to single crochet 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we're going to do another increase underneath that armhole, and we should have 9 stitches left, and we're going to single crochet in each one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And for row 10, you're just going to single crochet in each one of the stitches, and you should have 40 stitches in this row. This is another good opportunity to make sure that your little cardigan is fitting your mouse just fine, but we're going to go ahead and move on to row 11, and we're going to do 10 single crochet. And now we're going to increase. We're underneath that armhole. And we're going to single crochet 18. Now we're going to increase again underneath that armhole, and we should have 10 single crochet left, and we're going to single crochet 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Chain 1 and turn. After row 11, you should have 42 stitches, and for row 12, we're just going to single crochet in each one of the stitches. Go ahead and do that. Chain 1 and turn, and we will meet back for our last row, row 13. You should have finished row 12, and we're on to row 13. We're going to do 11 single crochet. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're underneath that armhole again, and we are going to increase. And then we're going to single crochet 18 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we are going to increase, and we should have 11 single crochet left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We're done. Just make sure one last time that the cardigan fits your little mouse perfectly, that it's not too tight across the back, and look how cute. Looks adorable. So now we are going to bind off here, and we're going to go ahead and weave in your ends. And we'll meet back to work on the sleeves. Now that you've got the body part of the cardigan done, we are going to attach the sleeves. And you can attach in any stitch around the armhole, but I like doing it in the corner. You're also going to use your larger sized crochet hook. And I'm going to leave a longer tail. This is probably about 8 or 9 inches. And I'm going to make a slip knot. And our tail is going to be for any of the holes that can end up when you attach a sleeve, and we can sew those closed. So you're just going to make your slip knot, and I'm going to attach it over here in the corner, but it really doesn't matter. I like to attach with a stacked single crochet, which just means I bring my yarn up, I have my 2 loops, and I yarn over, and I just make it into a single crochet. I'm going to mark that stitch, and we're going to go around 15 single crochet in this armhole. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I'm going to count to make sure I know where to put my hook. So I've done 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. It helps to plan out where each of those 15 stitches are going to go. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that was round 1. Now we're just going to do the same thing for rounds 2 and 3. You're going to single crochet in each one of the 15 stitches, and then you will bind off and do the exact same thing for this second sleeve, and then we'll meet back to add the border. Now that you have your little sleeves, we are going to start with the border. We're going to be working from the front side of our work, and we're going to turn our little cardigan upside down, and we're going to start up in this top right corner. I'm going to be using the brown yarn that I used for the shoes of my little mouse, and we're just going to start with a slip knot. We're going to join our yarn right into this right corner stitch, and I'm going to do a stacked single crochet. And now all we're going to do is single crochet all the way across the bottom, and we'll meet over here at the left hand corner. Now that we're at the corner of our bottom edge, we're going to make 3 single crochet in this stitch. 2 and 3. Now we're going to work up the side of our cardigan, the little opening part. And you're going to see there are natural little spaces here where we're going to single crochet into. And there's going to be 12 of them. And we will just go ahead and start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You'll still have the little corner space right here along the top edge. Now we're going to go into this corner stitch, which was our chain from the top, and we're going to make 3 single crochet in that space. And now we're just going to single crochet all the way across the top of our cardigan, just like we have the other sides. And we'll meet back over here at the corner. Now we're at the upper left-hand corner, and we're just going to squeeze into that little stitch, and we're going to make 3 single crochet. And now we're going to crochet down the last side, and if you remember on this side we did 12 single crochet, and that's the same thing that we're going to do down this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And if you remember, we started right here in this corner, and we only started with 1 single crochet. So we're going to go back into this corner stitch, and we're going to make 2 more single crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet that we made. And we will bind off. So go ahead and weave in your ends, and we will start the collar. For the collar, we're actually going to be working on the inside of the collar area. So we're not working on the outside, we're going to open it up and work on the inside. We're going to be joining the yarn into this central stitch of those 3 single crochets that we made in the corner. And we're going to be leaving about a 6-inch tail or so, because that is how we're going to create a little bow tie right in the front. So I'm going to make a slip knot. And we're looking for that central stitch. Remember, when we came to the corner, we would make 3 single crochet. So we're looking for that middle stitch, which is right here. And we're going to slip stitch into that spot. Now in the next stitch, we're going to make a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, pull up, and you have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Now in the next 3 stitches, we're going to make double crochets. Yarn over, pull up, go through 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through 2. So we're going to do that for 2 more. And the last stitch here, double crochet. And now in this next stitch, we're going to make a half double crochet. Now in the next 14 stitches, we're going to make a slip stitch. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And we're going to repeat what we did over here. We're going to make a half double crochet, pull through all 3 of those loops. Now we're going to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make a half double crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch. Now, you want to leave a long length so that we have these 2 long tails to be able to tie together in the front, just like this little mouse. Now we've made our cute little collar, and we can fold it down. And if it wants to stick up, you can always wet this a little bit and pin it down to make sure that it stays pointing the way that you want it to. But now we need to go and add our border to our little sleeves. For the sleeves, all we're going to do is take our border color again, and we are just going to single crochet in each one of those stitches. And if you remember, we had 15 single crochet, and that's all we're going to do. And you can add in at any point. I usually like to do it on the bottom of the underarm, and I like to do stacked single crochet stitches so that I start with the single crochet. I just think it looks neater. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now I like to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch and then bind off and weave in the ends. And go ahead and do that for the other sleeve, and then we will start on the shorts. Now that we've got the little cardigan all made and it looks so cute, we're going to start on the little shorts. Now I'm going to be using the pink color, and I'm still going to use my 3mm crochet hook, which is the larger size. And we are going to start by chaining 36. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. Now we're going to join our chain in the round. And the best way that I know how to do this so that it doesn't twist is to hold the chain like this. Find that first stitch. And we're going to single crochet, and that's our first stitch. Now I like to tighten up that tail a little bit, and we're going to mark this first stitch. So for rounds 1 through 3, you're just going to single crochet in each one of the stitches. So each round should have 36 stitches, and we're going to meet back for round 4. Now you should have completed your 3 rounds, and we're going to make the hole for the tail. So all we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, remove our stitch marker, we're going to skip 2 stitches, and then single crochet into that next stitch. I'm going to add my stitch marker to that first chain so that I know that that's the beginning of my round. And all we're going to do is single crochet in each one of the stitches remaining in the round, which there are 34 left. And we'll meet back for round 5. For round 5, we're going to single crochet into our little space for our mouse tail. Instead of going into the chain, I just like to go right into that space because I feel like it makes it look a little bit neater. So that was the first chain, and now we're going to single crochet for the second chain, and then we're going to just single crochet around the rest of the round, all 34 stitches, to finish round 5. Now that we're finished with round 5, for rounds 6 through 12, we're just going to single crochet in each one of the stitches, and we're going to meet back for round 13. Now we finished round 12, and what we're going to do is separate our leg holes. And what we want to do is we want to separate our leg holes right in the center of where our little tail hole is, because we want this to be in the center of our back of our mouse. So I am just going to take my finger here and go all the way up, and this really does separate between these 2 stitches. I'm going to mark this stitch right here. That's going to be the first stitch in the left leg hole. And then I'm going to take another one of my stitch markers and I'm going to put it to the right because that's going to mark the stitches for the right leg hole. We can go ahead and remove our first stitch of the round because we're not going to need it anymore. Now, we know that we have 36 stitches, so half of that is 18. So we're going to mark 18 stitches, and we're going to count this one because this is the first stitch of that leg hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That means this is the other side. And I'm going to just make sure that I have 18 stitches around here. I know that I do, but I like to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're going to start with our right leg hole. We're going to single crochet 2 to get to the first stitch of our first leg hole. And we're going to mark it just so that we remember that this is the first one. Now we're going to take our work and we're going to turn it around. That stitch marker is for this side. This stitch marker is for this leg hole. So we're going to remove it. And we're going to bring our crochet hook as if we're working from the front of the work. And we're going to single crochet right into that stitch. So we've joined this in the round. And we're going to finish this round all the way to that stitch marker. Now we'll remove our stitch marker and I'm going to slip stitch to that first stitch in the round, bind off and weave in that end. Now we're going to join our yarn to the next leg hole. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail in case we have a little hole in the middle of the legs that we can close up if we need to. And I'm going to join right here where my stitch marker is. And I'm going to do that standing single crochet. And I am going to mark that stitch. But I'm going to use one of these smaller stitch markers. And we're going to single crochet all the way around the leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and this was that last stitch, 18, and I'm going to slip stitch to the first stitch of this round and bind off. And I'm going to weave in that end. Now, there is a little hole here, And we're going to close it up with our tail that we left when we joined our yarn. I'm going to weave in this end, and then I'll show you how I'm going to close up that little gap. I've threaded my needle here, and what I'm going to do is just put it right through that center, and I'm going to turn the little shorts inside out. And I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to go back and forth across this little gap here to close it. There we go. And then I will weave in this end. And then we're going to add the border to the shorts. For the border for the shorts, I am just using that off-white color. I'm going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to join my yarn at the top in the back of the shorts at the waistline, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch all the way around the top of the shorts. I would make sure that your tension matches the tension of your stitches, because what can happen with a slip stitch is that it can get super tight. So be as relaxed as you can with this part, especially if you're like me and you can tend to have a tighter tension. But we're just going to slip stitch all the way around the top. And then we will meet around the border of the shorts legs to finish it up. Now that we've done our little border around the waistline, we're going to do a little border around each leg. But instead of doing the slip stitch, we're going to do a single crochet border around the legs. And if you remember, we made 18 single crochet around each leg hole. So that's what we're going to do. You can join into any stitch and do a stacked single crochet. And I am going to mark that stitch. And make 18 single crochet around the leg hole. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And I am going to slip stitch to the top of my first stitch. Get the tail out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the second leg, weave in the tails, and then we're going to be ready to attach our tail. The last thing that we need to do is to add the tail. You're going to need to put your little shorts on, and I am going to place a pin right there. And that way I can pull the shorts down, and I know that this is exactly where we need to add the little tail. And this is where it's just super simple, super easy. Now that I have it actually secured, I take the little pin out and I'm going to just stitch it to the tail a couple of times. And I'm going to do this with both of my yarn tails that I have. And that way it's super secure. I will weave in the ends as I go. Then I will add the other side of that yarn tail. To make sure that the tail is on very securely, as securely as possible, and then weave in that end. Then all you need to do is place the little tail through the tail hole and you're done. Now I am going to embroider the little mouth here. I'm going to go down 4 stitches, 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I want this right in between, so this may not fit right in one of these stitches. I may have to split a stitch, and that's why I like to use a little bit of a sharper needle. And I'm going to come right up underneath that nose. I'm going to come right back down here and I'm going to go over 2 stitches. Easier said than done. And I will come over 2 stitches on this side. Then I'm going to go back down on the other side of our little smile right here. And that just tucks this down. And I'm going to take this end and bring it over here, over to the side. And then I'm going to take this little tail, and I wish I had left it just a tad bit longer. It would be a lot easier to weave in this end, but it is what it is. This is why you shouldn't leave tails that are too short. So that looks super cute. I'm going to trim these close. I'm just going to take my needle into those little spots. So that's where the black thread is still sticking out. I'm going to go over a couple stitches over, and I just take my needle, and that way the end of my embroidery floss is in the stuffing. Now I'll do that on the other side. Now you can also give your little mouse little eyebrows if you want, and give a little bit of blush on the cheeks. Your cute little mouse is finished. Look how adorable she is. I hope you enjoyed crocheting your Petunia Petal Mouse as much as I did, and I would love to see yours. Make sure to tag me on Instagram and Facebook at Elise Rose Crochet. I can't wait to see yours.